This is Harvey Robbins again, and back with Rob Beachy, and thank you again for taking the time. We have talked so far about a series of important factors in creating new product development that works for your organization. And when we left off in the last little video segment, we talked about a process as being this roadmap to success, and how you can skip around to different stages as if you meet all the requirements for those stages. But I wanted to move on to this issue of sort of screening, objective screening. How do you figure out what product is the best one for you when you're looking at all these things piled up? How do you sort through this big pile of projects and products to figure out which one's going to be the most cost-effective and beneficial for your company, and those kinds of objective screening kinds of things? So I'd like to ask Rob, how do you work your way through this this maze of all these different products, and people are screaming at you and asking for resources from different sides, etc.? How do you figure out which products you should be working on?
Well, some companies actually have multiple screens,
Mm-hmm.
but the most effective screens are objective screens, and they're putting values on it. Because how often does the squeaky wheel get the grease?
All the time.
Or management saying, "Oh, that's good. My gut feel says that's good." Well, I mean, there are some people that can actually do that, and that's a lot of times from experience.
Yeah.
But I would much rather put my money, and I would put my stockholder equity in a good process with objective measures.
Yeah.
Let me explain real quick. The initial screen should say, does it fit my core competencies? Is it on strategy? Is it something we do? Both from a marketing standpoint and sales standpoint, not only can we manufacture it. And then also, is there a sustainable difference we can create? In other words, maybe it's our brand name. If I'm a lawnmower and my name's Toro, I have a good brand name. The other thing is the fact that once it gets through that stage, now we start learning more, because we take a concept and we put features, benefits, attributes, and technology to it.
Yeah.
We try to define who the marketplace is. A lot of times we try to find out similar things in the marketplace so we can better describe them to other people, let alone try to cost them out. And the best companies literally have a screening device that's weighted, how much toward financial, how much toward strategy, how much toward share of market and sales. And they take every single one of the components, usually 8 to 16 components, and then they take those and they put objective measures. So let's say it's a scale of 1 to 5. One would have some kind of definition, as nebulous as it may be, like it fits with our manufacturing or it doesn't fit with our manufacturing. Then you use these objective scales, and then I can tell how high is up. And usually, a lot of times people go toward the easy, less risk projects, and that's not what the company needs. Yes, we need some easy ones. We need projects cycled in so we utilize all of our people effectively. But most important, we have to put our portfolio of profitability there too. Good cash flow, making sure that the squeaky wheel doesn't get the grease. The best project gets built.
And it's that best project that fits within the direction that you're going strategically from new product development.
Always.
It's got to fit in your portfolio. It's got to use the pick and all those kinds of things that we talked about earlier.
Good definition, good voice of the customer up front.
Right.
And if we have good voice of the customer up front, once we get down to screening, everybody's going to have a good feel of the technical feasibility, the marketing feasibility, the price and costing aspects.
Is it flexible enough, this kind of objective screening, to allow for opportunities to come up that you weren't anticipating? All of a sudden you see an opportunity out there that may or may not fit in with your business plan, but it's almost too good to pass up. I mean, does that fit into your screening process?
Sure.
Or?
Any good product development company is going to see opportunity to be able to identify it.
Yeah.
But you've got to measure it. Like Stanley Galt used to tell us at GE, you can measure anything, and you can.
Yeah.
You may not be able to say it costs $2.50, but it costs between $1.75 and $3.
Right.
And here's my market size based upon this research.
Right.
And so what you do with something that's totally new, is spend all your upfront money is actually going into market research, or product research, or development, and make sure that you can develop what you think you have. Right. Then go back and test it again against the market. Just don't think you have it. Go back and test it again with your customer.
Sure.
And most of the time you'll either be successful or you'll find out, well, it's not up our line.
Yeah. And so if you have just a pile of products that you're trying to figure out which to work on, and when you put them through an objective screen, you can put sort of a line in the sand to say, we won't go below this number.
Yeah, when you're setting up a screening process, it's one of the most important things. First of all, you've got to create that risk aspect. How much financial, how much building with strategy. Right. The more mature a company is, the more they push on the financial.
Right.
But that's actually also true for companies that are actually trying to start out, and they shouldn't be. It should be putting more on how can I grow this business, how can I develop my brand, not how much is it worth to me immediately.
Right.
Because I'm building a business.
Correct.
I'm not trying to harvest or cash it in.
Right.
The other thing that's really important that you brought up is the fact that, metrics are so critical to the business, but we don't need any more metrics than necessary. Too often they put all these different measurements down. All you need to know is like pricing, costing, share of marketplace, your return on investment, or whatever you do for your financial stuff. Beyond that, you don't need very many other metrics. And the other thing is the fact that just because it doesn't look good on the other, or if somebody's not presenting it well, that's why we need objective screening.
Oh, right. Because you could have someone who presents really, really well, and they get their project sold.
And it goes back to that. Yeah. You have the great presenter presenting the product or project that's worth half as much as the person that stutters and stumbles all over themselves.
Right.
But that also leads to another point. Typically, companies are working on twice as many projects as they should have.
Right.
And that's why you need screening and prioritization. So you can have a balanced portfolio, but work on the projects you can execute with excellence. Right. And that's critical. That's what screening helps.
Yeah.
Screening and prioritization. You can't do all the projects. Well, if you need to bring in more people. That's basically unrealistic in many instances. Yeah. So you've got to prioritize for success.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.